All right, let's start working on these tests proper. So our first failing test here is just user cred sign up. Request failed with status code 404. Well, let's see where they're actually trying to connect to. So I'm going to go into my backend tests, head into API tests, and so first of all, I see, okay, so to do API, user CRUD, got a 404 because it did the sign up. It did a post. This probably is what got the 404. It goes to a base URL / users. And if I take a look at base URL here, that is whatever that API URI that we set up in. So that's HTTP : / localhost port 3000. And then API v1 / users. Okay, so I do have to add in an API v1 and then users. Okay, that's fine. So to get like past this specific error, we are going to head back to our project solution for our routes. I want, where are you? Oh, router here. So I want routes. Okay, so I want route. So / API v1 users. It also looks like they're sending a, where was that? I probably want to just keep this open. It is a post. Okay, so you can be a post. And then this is to probably like a create user or something like that. What I'm going to do is create under routes another folder. I'm going to put in users here. Mod users. Oh, I forgot to put in the mod. If I had done that, then Rust Analyzer would have found it easily. Okay. And then, so this is going to be create user, I believe. Create user, .rs. Let's hub mod create user. And okay, so it looks like I need some kind of a route handler for this. Let's create that really quickly. So this is going to be a pub async function create user. So just sort of a handler for that. We'll go back into our router, and I'll use this here. So create user. All right. So at least no errors anymore. And it should technically make this part of the error go away. So let's rerun the tests again. And if I head on up, there's actually something to make this a little bit nicer. If I come up here and I do I think what I can do is, do I have to do it on all the describes? Also, I can't remember. I do a test for sign up and do an only on this. Let's see if it only runs that test or if I need to put it on the describes also. npm test. Oh, one failed, 27 skipped. Okay, perfect. So now I go straight to only doing the sign up. So this just allows me to not have to scroll back up through everything just to sort of see what's going on. So in this case, we expect to receive. Oh, okay. So it doesn't have the 404 error anymore. So it expects receive to have property path. Okay. Expect the path data. Got nothing at all. Okay, so what does that mean? So it have property data. So I guess this is line 27 here. So we get this response back, and it wants the response to have a property data. So it wants this object with a data key inside of it, and then probably something like a user inside of that. Well, that lets me know. Okay, so we want some kind of like response for that. It's probably going to be a response for like users in general. So I'm going to, for users in the mod here, create a pub struct, maybe like a response user. Response user. We know we want data of some kind. And I have no idea what to put in here yet. Probably a user of some kind that we care about. Let's put it just like an option boolean to like, as a hold, right? Like right. This is a holder for this. Now to send this out, we do need what is it? We do need Serde. So let's go ahead and add that. So these are backend tests. Here's our project solution. We can do a cargo add Serde. We also need Serde JSON. I also want to add in the derive functions. Okay. And then let's also add in Serde JSON. And I don't think I need any of those. Okay. Now we can have a derive, serialize, and deserialize. Okay, excellent. So if I have this as a response user, I'm going to come back into CreateUser. We're going to say that this needs to respond with JSON. And I guess it's going to be that response user. There you are. Okay, so let's do the response equals, this is going to be a response user. Our data is, sure, let's just do this as a sum true. That's total. The tests are going to love this, I promise. And we're going to return with an okay. What is an okay? No, it's just a JSON. JSON response. Okay. That should be happy. So if we run our tests again, come back up to you. Okay, excellent. So we got a little bit farther, and this is sort of like how I do a lot of test-driven development, especially the tests already exist. Just make that one test pass, and then worry about the rest of it later. So that way I don't write any code that I need to rewrite or delete or anything else. Okay, so we got a little bit farther. It's now checking something on line 585, but this looks like it's a helper function where it's checking the logged in user. So basically, we're assuming that the user that we're creating is now going to be logged in, which it looks like it's expecting us to have an ID for our user and that it actually is indeed something. So now it looks like we're going to have to get into actually setting up the database. Now, we already have the CRM CLI set up, so I should be able to just use that same command to connect to our database. So what was that? It was a CRM CLI generate entity, put into source database. I'm fine with all of this. If I hit that though, right, we're missing the database URL, which means we need a .env file somewhere in here. So I need to touch.env. It needs a database URL. Here's this .env. Oh no, that's the backend test one. Here is this .env. So on database URL equals, I'm actually going to go and steal the one from this. So this DB connection, that's what I care about. So I'm going to copy you and put you right in there. Let's see if this works. All right, let's run you again. Aha, there we go. So we've generated the tasks, we've generated the users, Okay, everything is set up for us. We now have this database folder in the project solution with everything we need. Okay, excellent. So we should be able to actually create the user now and like figure out what a response user is going to be. Well, our response user, we now know it needs to have an ID of some kind. So I'm going to do this is maybe like a response user, but like I want the actual user to respond with. So we need a pub struct like user here. We know we're going to have an ID, and that's going to be an I32, I believe. If we go and take a look at in database for users, we can see, yeah, the ID is an I32. Okay, so you're going to be that. We also want to implement serialize and deserialize on this too. Derive, serialize, and deserialize. Okay, so this is all good. We want to create the new user. Well, to create the new user, we're going to need to put, okay, and also data, you need to be this user. This user here. I think I want a different name for this because when I'm using this in other files, it's going to be really easy to get confused about what exactly this user is. So maybe I want to use this as like a response object, like a user response data user. I don't know. And this is just like a response user. Naming things is hard. So you are going to be this response user. If I change my mind, I'll just come in here and just sort of like rechange these. I just want to move forward with this, so I'm not worried too much about it. I just want to make sure that these names are unique enough that I'll sort of understand what they are and won't get confused with the database user. Okay, so back to create. Okay, so this is going to be a response data user. With the data, you can't be this anymore. This has to be a user. But in order to be a user, we're going to need to actually get the users. Okay, so we have to create the user. I'm gonna do a to do in here to sort of buy us some time. All right, back to our tests again. I'm actually going to pin this. Where is the pin? I want there it is, pin. I'm just going to pin it so it's easy for me to find this again and I don't have to constantly reopen it. So the user that we're sending as part of our create is user to create. Okay, so we're going to pass in a username and a password. Okay. The password is super good, as we can see. It's just the date, but it's guaranteed to be unique. Okay, so username and password. I want, okay, so if I'm pulling this in, I need JSON. We already have Serde and deserialize. Okay, so I need this as a request user, which is a username and password. So this is back to users mod. We want a struct request user. This has a username, and that is definitely going to be a string, and then a password is a string. And I might want to do this as like a request create user because some of the other ones might be slightly different. Okay, so request create user. This is good. Let's derive, serialize, and deserialize on this. We're going to head into CreateUser here. We are going to take in a JSON. This is the, I guess this is the like request user. Type request create user. Okay. So I should have access to that now. If I want to now actually create the user, we're gonna have to create create an active. What was that? That was what, users. Gonna what? Use create database. Oh, we need to mod that. That's why we can't see it. We want to mod database. Now maybe I can use this. Okay. Users. We have model and relation. I don't have like active model. What else do I need to do to bring this in? Hints failing. So that's very unhappy with this. I wonder if I need to also pull in the, let's see, use, create, database, users. Oh, what was it? It was the active relations. So in database, we have this mod that pulls this in. That's happy. In users, I want to pull in the entity. Oh, you know what we're missing? CRM. We're missing CRM. So we need to pull this into the project. So cargo add CRM. Now, is there anything we need to add in here feature-wise? So we are using our runtime Tokyo. Let's do runtime Tokyo. SQLX Postgres is our other one. Postgres. Okay, so if I add those two in here, all right. Suddenly you're happy there. So now let's see if this is any better. Okay, so I want to do, so let maybe like mute new user equals users. There we go, an active model. And we're going to want to set things on this, but if I just do active model like that, I guess we'll do in default. So that sets an active model. I can now set things on this active model. So we can do something like user dot username equals, we want to do a set. This is a string of whatever that username is. So it's going to be a request user dot username. And sure, we'll just set the password. It's going to be plain text, but I know that the tests aren't going to let us do that forever. So new user dot password set request user dot password. Okay, so if I do those two things, we're going to save this. So we want to do a new user dot save. Save. So we need our database connection and we need everything else. I am gonna have to put a cut in here though because I'm running out of time for my day. I do these I do these recordings. I'm live streaming also with these before work. So I will have to come back to this after work. So I'm gonna put a cut in and we'll continue on next time. All right, I'm back. It's the next day, and we're going to continue working on sign up. Although, right before I hit record, I I tried to start the server and we got this error. So in CRM, I had said that I wanted to use the runtime Tokyo, but it looks like I'm missing what, like that's not the right runtime to use. So I'm thinking it's either going to be runtime Tokyo native TLS or runtime Tokyo Rust LS. And I'm not sure exactly which one. I don't remember for sure. Although, you know what we can do? Uh, we can go take a look at what we used in the previous one. So I'm gonna go to project solution. Okay, let's just that. These are lessons data cargo.toml. So bat is a Rust build sort of cat replacement tool that gives us this. It's really nice. Okay, CRM. I want runtime Tokyo Rust LS. I don't need the runtime Tokyo here that I have, so I'm gonna just replace you with you. Hit save, and I should be able to run you again. All right, recompile. Then I'm guessing this is gonna work, sort of. Multiple default found. Expected semicolon found to do. Okay, so in CreateUser line 10. So project solution, CreateUser line 10. We're not finished with this. Okay. So expected a semicolon here. So we hit save. I believe that save returns a future. Yeah, so a pinbox future. So we await. Now, I think this gives us the user back again. So let user equals. That also sort of let us see what we're getting. Okay, so we have this result. I think I'm going to want a good error message, but I'm not exactly sure what we're going to want in the test because it's been too long since I've made those. So I'm going to go ahead and create a utilities. Let's just create a utilities here. We'll mod that. Oh, I forgot to add in the mod.rs. Okay, there we go. And I want for this, I want to add in I guess there's going to be an error. And I think we're going to use this. We're going to use this error for that. I can't remember if it. What did we do for that? I'm going to go remind me. I'm just going to bring in that entire folder. Let's bring in lessons data. So we have our source, utils, our app error. It's just a struct app error that then implements into response. So yeah, okay. That's all we really need then. So project solution, this, utilities, app error. Okay, so we have a pub struct. This is going to be an app error. I do want a code, which is going to be a probably just a status code. I want a message, which is going to be a string. To impl app error. Okay, so we can have a code, which is that status code. We can have the message. Now, so I think what I did last time was something like anything that impulls toString. I think I'm okay with that still. So we'll do anything that impul into toString. And we're going to return itself. Okay, so code is just that. Message is going to be message.into. Trait objects must include the dyn keyword. Okay. So you don't know what that is. Okay, so impul into. I didn't do toString, did I? I did something else. I did into. Oh, was it just into string? Something that implements into for a string. So therefore, stir would work out just fine too, because that could do an into. Okay. Or maybe it was impul to string. I don't remember anymore. But this works. So I can do an into for that. Then that gives me there. Okay, so we want to impul. I think there's a response. Yeah, I think it's just a response for app error. Ooh, no, because you don't know what that is. That's the wrong trait. Impul. Let's not cheat too much. Let's go look it up. So if I go to crates, Axum, go to our documentation, and I want responses. I want a custom. Okay, so error handling. Oh, into response. That's what I want. Into response. Okay. So into response for app error. There we go. Now, okay, so we run this into response and we have to return a tuple. And I believe the tuple is always going to be a status code first and then whatever I want out of it, which could be a an object, which I think is going to be fine. I think they showed, yeah, it's going to be something like, where do they have that? They have, oh yeah, here, status code string. Okay, so we want the status code. Well, that's going to be easy enough. So, and then it's okay. So we're going to return you. We do want to do into response like that. Our first one's going to be self.code. And our second one, I want to be a JSON and then have the message here like that. I could also just return this entire struct. So we just have the code as part of this, which would be interesting. But I don't know how helpful that really is. I think having maybe not message, maybe error would be correct. Okay. I'm changing my mind. I kind of like the idea of having this be message here, but then we're going to create another struct. So I want a private struct. This is going to be the error response. You're going to have, I could put the code in here, but we're going to have the error message. That's going to be a string. we're gonna derive. Just serialize and deserialize. Might as well. Then you become a JSON error response. And the error message is self.message, and we'll have to clone you. Okay. So I should be able to use this app error now inside of CreateUser. So I want to not return just a JSON response user. I want to return a result. With an app error inside of it. Okay, so we wait. I want to map the error. In the case that we do have an error back, I don't know if I necessarily want to send that back to the front end, but I do want to log it. So we're going to take this error. I'm going to multi-line it. So I'm going to do a probably a debug log. We're going to do a format. I don't remember if I could do that with an error. I think I can. I think I'm able to just do error dot message. I don't remember if it has one. And then here, okay, we want to return the new error. So app error. Oh, app error new. Status code. Okay, so this can be status code internal server error, most likely. And then my message. So this is going to be something went wrong. Please try again. Okay, and that gives me the active model. So then, oh, right, the database. Oh, I totally forgot. We need to connect to the database. We have CORM set up. Multiple applicable items in scope, multiple default found. Oh, okay, so I can't do default like this. We'll just do like that. Okay, so I need the database, which means I need state. So let's maybe here in the main library, we can connect to the database. We need the URL. Oh, which means, okay, so if we're gonna connect to the URL, so let's do database connection equals, and really, I guess we could just call this DB. This is going to be database connection. What do we have here? Do we have a new? I have disconnected. There's not a default. I feel like I need to go look up how to do the database connection now. But before I even do that, I need to get the database URL, which I do have access to in this .env here. So I need to get this into my code base. I'm going to use a crate called .envy, which is a new version of the .env crate. So let's bring that in. Okay, so cargo add .envy. I don't think I need either of those two features. Okay, so I use that. Let's also see, we want to... Okay, we want to do this .env, okay, at the beginning of main. So in project solution, here's our main. .envy, .env, like that. Okay. I think that's it. Now I have access to environment variables, and I can use those. The .env macro provided by .env macro crate can be used. Okay, so we need that crate as well. No features. And so now I can just use .env macro. Okay. So let's see. Now in here, so in run, okay, so we can get that database URL. I want a .env. I want to use this as the variable name. And you don't give me anything back? Oh, warning, there's an outstanding issue with Rust Analyzer related to the .env macro. Okay. So if we take a look at that, it doesn't know that it exists. But I think what I can do is I can just tell it it's going to be a string, because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is. Yeah, so I'm just going to tell it, hey, this is a string. Trust me. So if I have that as a string, I want to then add this into run. So we're going to have a database URL, which is a string. We'll take ownership of it. That's fine. And we will pass you in here. Okay, once we have the database URL, I need to connect to CRM using that database URL. I also need an AppState. So I'm going to put, I think I might put that into utilities here. Just that I don't, yeah, just so I'm not like necessarily creating that elsewhere. We only have one state, which I think is going to be fine. So we're going to do a state. I mean, utilities may be the wrong word for this. Mod state. Okay, so we have a pub struct state. I don't remember what it needs to implement right now. But let's see. We know we're going to have a database connection, so I'm just going to call this pub db is an database connection. I know I need to implement. Okay, so I need to derive. There is a there's some kind of ref thing that I can derive. Let's go take a look at Axum again and look up state. So there's the extract with states. Okay, so here's our state. Oh, right, it needs to derive clone. So you need clone. And then there's also the There's a derived macro that we can use to get each individual arm of the, it's not really arm. What is it? It's field out of there. That's not it. Let's see, do we have state in here? Sharing state. I remember originally reading about this using just their migration guide or just the sort of like the versions of like what changed. Not necessarily seeing that here. I think it was like something like from ref or something like that. I don't remember. It doesn't matter too much, and it doesn't bother me too much to like not be able to go directly into the state and just like grabbing the entire state and getting things out of it, because it kind of is what's happening behind the scenes anyways. So do on this. Okay, sure. Is there anything else using the state extractor? Exiting state. Okay, so there's our AppState. We just implement clone. Do you have any other? Not seeing anything else. Not seeing the traits. There's the maybe derived macros, but I'm not seeing those in here. Okay. Well, I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm just going to move forward. Okay. So we're going to have our database connection. We're going to create our app state with that. That's going to be fine. Okay, back to library. I need to remember how to create the database connection next. So that is C or M, Rust. Let's go, okay, here. Getting started. I need the creating the connection pool. So we chose a runtimes. That's great. Connection pool. Aha, we're going to do this database connect. That's what it is. Okay. So database, what is it? Yeah, use the database interface. Okay, so database, there it is. Connect. This needs the database URL. This gives me a result. So I probably want to handle this error. So let's do a if let okay, we have the db equals to. I could also do a match on this. That might make more sense. Let's do a match. You match you. Okay, so if you're okay, we're going to get the db out, and I'm going to return the db. If it's an error, we're going to get whatever this error is out, and I want to log this out. So now that debug that I did before, I don't know if I like that as much. I actually think I want to change that to an ePrint line. So an ePrint line will print out the standard error, which is different than standard in or standard out. So therefore, it will. We could then redirect that into a log file or something else if we really want to. So we should probably have like error connecting to the database. Put in maybe like a debug of the error and the error. Also, I want a panic at this point. So let's multi-line this. And we're going to just panic. So that way, this is the only thing that we get out. Mismatch types. Okay, so yeah, semicolon that. Okay, so mismatch types, expected future. Oh, we need to await you, don't we? That's why I was having a little bit of trouble. There we go. Now I have my database connection, which means I can create my app state here. So let's do app state DB is just that. And then I want to pass this into create router. So we're going to do app state into here. Okay. Now going to create router, you're going to take in an app state, which is an app state. And we're going to, just for everything here, do a with state app state. Okay. That's fine. Back to CreateUser. You're looking for this. Okay, yeah. So I don't want to do this debug anymore, and also there's no field message, so makes sense. I think we have to do the debug bit. So we're gonna do an ePrint line. So this is error. So a nice little custom error message to like let me know exactly where it happens each time would be nice. We're gonna do an error. This is creating user, so creating user. Error. Then we're going to return that app error. That's fine. Okay, we need this database. So we have the JSON. So before that, I need a state. The state, let's pull it in. State is going to be state with that's going to take in an app state because I did not put in that thing. Maybe you know what it is. These are all app states without, just with normal clone. Oh, from ref, I think. Yeah, I thought it was from, okay. I thought I had that. Did I, is there a feature that I'm missing? From ref. Mefa with handler. Substates. Yeah, for convenience, from ref can also be derived using derive from ref. Okay. So I thought so. Let's go back into here and let's put in from ref. Import. Oh, cannot find the derived macro from ref, so it's not that one. Oh, is this behind a feature flag? This might be behind a feature flag. Okay, feature from ref. Okay, derive. Aha, available on create feature macros only. Okay, so this is on Axum macros. So I want to add in cargo add Axum f macros. There we go. Then this from ref should work. Once we give Rust Analyzer a little bit of a ability, then import you. There we go. Now we got it. So now I can have this database connection as part of this. Database connection, and you are DB, and you want to be a reference to the DB. Okay. That's good there. Semicolon U. Okay. Happy there. Main is upset. Mismatch types, expected struct string. Found a stir. Okay, so it's a. Do you know what this is now? We can do to_owned here. Okay, everything. Okay, we're back to working again. Okay, so that was a lot of code to get ourselves back to working state. I've now created the user. We are assuming that we're getting all the stuff back, but we're going to get an error in a case that it can't extract like the exact users that we want. That's fine. Okay, so we set the username and we set the password. We create the new user, and then I want to return with this full user minus the password, I believe. So I want my response user right here just has this ID, which that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so create user. I want to do, and I think we have an OK response user. There we go. So we're going to return an OK. JSON response user. ID is going to be user.id. Oh, right. Oh, user ID dot. Can I get. So as ref gives me a reference to that. I can do. Take is not what I want, I believe. To owned, maybe as ref and then clone it or dereference it. That seems wrong. Into value. I don't. Was there like a get? No. I could. If I clone you, what do I get? Oh, I don't think it's the right thing. Yeah, I cloned the active value itself. I didn't get that other thing. Okay. So I want into gives me the value. Oh, and then there's into value. Can I do into? Oh, the trait bound I32 from active value doesn't exist. Okay, not terribly surprising. So I need. Let's go take a look at CORM again. So I want to extract out the data out of a model. So we have our model to. Where's model information? Structure. So generate entity, basic CRUD, relations. These are all query stuff. I want search model. The derived model, implement model trait for model, which provides setters and getters for all attribute and model. It implements from to convert. Okay, so I want a model trait. Any model drive column. Where's my getters? I mentioned that. And I remember I did this in the course itself, but that was a while ago now, so I forgot exactly what I did. Drive entity, ident static, drive column. Maybe getters. Get a model, get back fresh model. Want a. Okay, so active model, entity model. Oh, these are all internal design. Basic CRUD. Maybe that. I want to get the thing out of here. Oh, model.name cheesecake to owned. So that model, hey, so if I have a model, I can just do model.name. I thought I did that to get the ID out. What am I doing wrong with this? We do user. Oh, it's a active model. That's why. So I don't want an active model. I just want a model. That's what it is. Convert an active model back to a model. Using try into model method, you can convert active model back to model. Okay, so we have you. I map air. Okay, so then right into here to something into a model. So try, okay, into active model, try into model. So I do that. That's another result. So we'll do another map air. So we have our air. We'll do another ePrint line. And we'll say air converting back into model. I guess this is user. Okay. I wonder if it implements display. Can I just do this? And then we're going to return an app error. New. Status code. Internal server error. And this is just internal error creating user. Return that and question mark U. Okay, that gives us a model, and now we can do this user ID there. Okay, great. So all of this work just to see whether or not this one part of the test passes. So if we go back to here and we try to rerun this, you aren't working. So are you working now? Cargo watch. Okay, so are you running? No errors. Let's hit this with let's do API, hello world, new request. Oh, 200, okay. Okay. Connection refused, port 3000. Why are you upset? This is going to port 3000. Do I already have something running on port 3000 for some reason? This should be working. I don't have anything else running here. I don't have another terminal up. I just rebooted my computer. Okay, so if I turn you off, this, yeah, fails. Okay, that makes sense. Now, if I do let's replicate this. Let's duplicate, and we'll make this a rename. Okay, so you're going to be like a CreateUser. So if we do a post to 3000 / API v1 users, I want in the body, we want JSON username. So let's say I want, I don't know, just some random text. Password is, sure, that's perfect, right? Oh yeah, we get this back. Okay. So you are upset. Connection refused, port 3000. What am I missing here? So we have the .env. So if I take a look at this, .env here. So API port is 3000. We're going to localhost. That should be fine. That's our database connection here. And I believe my Docker compose. Yeah, database is up and running using that port too. Okay. It should be everything the same. Yeah, so just an immediate connection refused. I am not getting this thing. Okay, so I'm gonna put a cut in here and try to debug and figure out what's going on. Okay, I figured it out. This is wild. So thank you, Future Highway on Twitch for helping out with this. We what's happening here, and the key to sort of see what's happening is this : :1. This is an indication that it's looking up an IPv6 address, which of course our server's running on IPv4, localhost. So what's going on is, for some reason, when we're searching localhost, we're getting back the IPv6 version of localhost, not the IPv4 version. So there's a couple ways for us to fix this. First of all, we could just switch our API URI in the .env to 127.0.0.1 and go on with that. But if you want a sort of more interesting approach to this, in our API tests, we can pull in DNS from Node. So we're going to do const DNS equals require node DNS. And then I want to run DNS, set the default result order to be IPv4 first. So if I just hit save on that one, we come back and we rerun our tests. Now we get the proper errors, which is saying, hey, we totally forgot to put in the data in our path. So that was a fun sort of segue for to sort of take us off. And these type of things happen all the time. But I'm glad we've moved through that and working. Apparently, if you're using Node version 16 and before, you're fine. Okay, so we are missing this data field here. So to continuing on, I've got like 10 minutes before I need to pack up again. So let's see. We are in project solution, routes, users. Okay, so we do have this response data user, which this data and the response user. I believe that in CreateUser, I'm just doing a response user. I want a response data user. So this response user is going to be fine. I want a response data user. Data is going to be that, and then close you off. Okay, and then you should be fine. Let's head back to the tests again. Run you. And okay, so perfect. It found the ID, it looks like. So it tested that the ID is indeed a number. It is next up. It expected to find the username back again. So now I'm sort of in this TDD format. This pattern I call, or somebody else told me, and I've sort of taken it. It's the hostile developer, which is I'm only doing the bare minimum to pass the tests, which I think is fine. So here, response user, we need a username. So username, you're going to be a string, which means in the CreateUser, we want, so we have ID, I want the username as well, and you're going to be user.username. Okay, so that's that. Let's rerun our tests. Okay, so I found the username. It's expecting a token now. Okay, so we have to create a token for our user. So this is essentially a JOT token, and uh, then we want that to be stored into the database. Well, specifically want it to be returned with the user. So I think we're using JSON web token. Let's go take a look at that. JSON web token. All right, let's just go to crates. JSON web token, I think, is what we were using. It is, yeah, it's still being updated quite often. So, yeah, I remember this now. This is what we were using. So we will pull this in. Cargo add you. Don't need any of the features for that. So, creating a token. I'm going to want to create a new token on user on login and on CreateUser. So across like both things. So probably want under users maybe like a new function here, or actually what this is utilities too. So this is going to be maybe like token, maybe jot. And jot, we're going to want a create token. So pub function create token. I don't necessarily know if I want to pass anything in here, and I do want to return a string of what that token is. I probably want this to be a result with a string if it's successful and an app error if it's not, because then I can just do question marks throughout my code. Okay, so throw a to do in here. All right, so JSON web token. So let's go and remind myself how to use this. Right, we're gonna have any claims that we're gonna put in, right, with this information inside of it. So we need a claims. So pub. I don't actually know if this needs to be public. So we're gonna have a struct claims. You're gonna have to implement serialize and deserialize. Okay, and okay, so audience is optional, so I don't need that. Expiration. So this is absolutely required. So we need exp. Exp is going to be a usize, which defaults true in validation, expiration time as in a UTC timestamp. So I think we were using chrono, and that's a crate that I've used before. Let's go take a look at that. Chrono. Date and time library. So let's pull this in. I believe this is the right one, right? It's not very long ago and is being used quite often. Okay, so cargo add chrono. Let's see. Now I could do Serde for pulling things directly into chrono, but I don't know if that's absolutely necessary at this time. I think we're good for this. And there's no like UTC stuff in here. So okay, so I want like a now. Oh, this is gonna be a this is like a U32, isn't it? A usize. That's what it is. Okay. So usize. What else? In claims. IAT issued at. That's optional. So let's just do optional for everything else. We only need this exp. So it expires in. So I want just that. We have claims. Okay, so not being used. That's fine. So if I do let now equals okay, let's search through chrono. So we have chrono UTC now. And then I want to turn this into a date time. So if I do now dot timestamp, that gives me a I64 and as a usize. That gives me, okay, that gives me exactly what I want. And so I can now create my claims equals claims. And your exp is now. Except I want this to be another time. So I am running out of time right now, so I do have to put in a cut, but it'll be the same video. So I'll see you in a couple seconds where we're going to add in time. So I'm going to remind myself because for me it's going to be in 2 days. So this is add at least an hour for this timestamp. So we'll need to create a duration and add it to this. Okay, well, that will be next time I'm doing this. So I'll put in a cut in here and see you in a second. All right, I'm back and we're going to continue. It's been a couple days since our last session in real life, but let's see, where were we? We were in this jot here. So we created, we're creating the claims. We have this now here. We need to add at least an hour for this. We can use maybe a chrono duration for this. Let's see if I could do that. So let's let I guess like expires in. So expires at so I want a duration, but that's gonna be a chrono duration, and then from it's not from. There's something from like from seconds or value minutes. Oh, this gives me a duration here. Okay, so can I give hours? Yeah, that gives me a duration. Okay, so we're gonna say 1 hour, which should be more than enough for this. And then I want to create the exp. So exp equals, and this is going to be now. So I don't want to turn this into a timestamp yet. We're going to start with the now. I want the now plus the expires at. And then I want to turn this into, okay, so let's actually make this like expires at, and then I'll do let xp equals expires at. So this will be timestamp as usize. And then down here, we can get rid of this. All right, so we've got our claims. Taking a look back at our documentation again, so we've got that. We can now create a token. We're going to use the default header. So that's fine there. My claims. Okay, so the claims encoding key from. Okay, so let's do these one at a time. So we have that maybe like token header is going to be equal to, what is that? Like header default. We have my claims, so that's the claims. Encoding key is going to be from a secret, which is going to be loaded up from our environment variable. So now I need to reopen up. So in project solution, our .env here. Let's open up. What is this going to be? This is going to be our jot secret. We can just make this a keyboard. Let's spell it correctly this time. Keyboard cat. Now I could load that directly here, but that would do it every time that we create a token. I think we can pass the secret into this. So see, okay. I'm wondering if we want to put this as part of state. And if we put this as part of state, so AppState, let's have pub jot token is going to be a string. Now we're creating AppState here. I kind of want to now, instead of take in a database URL, let's take in the database. Let's just take in an AppState as part of this, and we'll create the database connection in main. So we'll do an AppState is an AppState. This database connection, we're going to cut you out. Head over to main. Right, so we get the database URL. We create the database connection. We get the, still have the .envs together. So we're going to get the jot secret .env, and then that was jot secret. We 2-owned you. Okay, that should be happy. Then we get our database. Okay, we need to create the app state. App state. I need to pub that. So right now, app state is coming from here. That's pub. The library is mod utilities. So I need to, I would need to pub mod all of the utilities, which I'm not completely sure I want AppState in there. So I'm gonna make an architecture change now. Let's create a new folder. That's actually just a single file. So I'm gonna move AppState out of utilities, just into source here. Okay, so utilities, you don't care about that anymore. Library, you care about this. So we're gonna do a pub mod AppState. Okay, so then this is just going to be AppState. You shouldn't need self ever. Okay, that should be happy now. Back into main. We should find, there we go, we found you. There is no new for this. All right, so we have DB. And we have jot token, which is actually this jot secret. Okay, so let's rename you. AppState, I want this to be jot secret. Okay. So now we create the AppState there, and we're going to pass in the AppState. Okay, that makes you happy. Our router isn't happy now because you're taking in, oh, right, you don't know where this is. This is now super. Failed to resolve. Super. Oh, let's. Oh, use. Okay, use create. Oh, it's just AppState then. There we go. CreateUser. Okay, yeah, you're not from this. You're gonna be from use create. That. Unused import AppState. I don't even know if I need that. Everything else seems to be happy without it. Well, I'll wait until the end, and then I'll clean up as soon as we get this first test working. Okay, back to you. We need this database information. Why aren't you working? Rust Analyzer restart. Well, this jot is not saved either. Maybe. There we go. Now can you find, oh, you still can't find the database? Use that. Database. Okay. Okay, you should be happy. No more errors, which means that you should be running now. Excellent. Okay, now we're not using the jot yet, so that's obviously a problem. But let's go back to our jot. So this is token header. We want to create the secret. What was that called? Oh, it's the encoding key. So it's the key equals, this is going to be the encoding key from secret, I believe. Now we need to take in the secret, which is going to be a strt. And you take in this secret like that. Oh, expected this U8. Okay, so you do as bytes. Yes. Okay, we have all of those. We should finally be able to create the token. And the token does look like we need a question mark on this, so it returns a result. Okay, so we're going to, I want this to return an app error instead. So we're going to do a create token. No, that's the wrong one. I want encode. I want encode. Okay, encode. The header is going to be a reference to the token header. The claims is a reference to claims, and the claims, and the key is a reference to the key. We have to map the error. All right, so first we're going to do an ePrintLine, not create a new file. We want to do an ePrintLine, error. What is this going to be? So this is error creating token. And that's going to be the error. And then we're going to return an app error. So a status code internal server error. And then some kind of message. So error, I guess like this is error creating an account or logging in. So there was an error. Please try again later. Okay, so, and we're returning that. All right, so encode, and we're returning this entire thing. So there we go. That returns our token. We do that. We don't have a question mark. Okay, great. So back to users. So create user. We need, see, where is this? We have our, okay, so when we set this password, okay, so right here, so we do new user dot token equals a set. We need to create token. We need the secret, which means this is, now this is interesting. This is the only string that we have out of the state. So if I ended up with a second string in that state, that's going to end up being a problem. I kind of wonder if I want to create a utility, like a little wrapper type, for the token. And I could do that. I could do like I could do that part of this. I could also do this as like in utilities. Let's create in here. We'll do a like a token wrapper. Yeah, this token wrapper. That makes sense to me. Okay, so we'll do rs mod token wrapper. So we're gonna do a pub struct. I'm thinking this could be a tuple struct only. This is gonna be a token wrapper, and that holds a string inside, and that's it. That's all I need. I could add more methods to this, or maybe add like a deref if I really want to, that derefs out the internal string. That might be helpful. Let's now go to AppState, and we'll just say you are a token wrapper. So you're that. Expected a type, found a module. Oh, I named the file token wrapper like the module. Let's rename that. It should be token wrapper. AppState. Okay, your token wrapper. Token wrapper. Okay, I think unresolved import. Oh, I need to rename you. Okay, now you are. There we go. Now you're happy. Clone is not okay. So we need to implement clone for you. That's fine. Okay, so we've got clone. What's next? In here. So we have our jot secret. We need to put this inside of a token wrapper, which you can't find. Why not? Because utilities now needs to be public. Okay, fine. Fine. You need to be public. Import you. There is no creator on this, so it's gonna be token wrapper, and then that's gonna be the jot secret. Okay. Cannot initialize the tuple struct, which contains private fields. Oh, you need to be public. So this is public there. Okay, there we go. Okay, token wrapper goes into this jot secret, which means now in CreateUser I should be able to extract this out with state. This is going to be the jot secret with a state token wrapper. Okay. That gives me this, and then if I want to pass in the stir from this, this create token, the secret is going to be the jot secret dot 0, but I don't want to take ownership of it, so it's a reference. And then we question mark semicolon that. Oh, I question mark this one here. Expected an option string, found a string. Oh, an option string. Okay, so you have to be a sum like that. There we go. Okay, so that should now create a token for us. Now we need the token back because it expects that token back as soon as we create the account. So we need to come back into users here. So the response user comes with a token, which is a string. So far, that's going to be absolutely required, but this might have to be an option at some point. Let's come back to CreateUser. We then have a token, and this is going to be user.token. Now we can unwrap at this point because we just created the token. We know absolutely that it exists. So I feel safe doing that. Okay, so no more errors. Our server is running. Let's head back here and run our tests. Connection refused. Port 3000. Let's restart you. Make sure you're running. Let's try it again. Now it is going to localhost it, so we don't have that same problem as last time. Let me try hitting our server with Thunder Client and just sort of see what's going on. So in our to-do API, if I do a create user, let's add like another username to this. Connection was refused by the server. How about the hello world? Oh yeah, connection refused by server. So something is wrong here. Let's see what's going on. So there are backend tests. Oh, you panicked. Error connecting to the database. So I rebooted my computer. Which would indeed cause the database to restart. So I need to do a docker compose up, put it background mode, and wait until healthy. So yes, having the database actually running would have been helpful, and hitting it causes the error to happen, which then prints out that the error is. Okay, so let's try this again. So we'll restart you. If I hit you, there we go. Now we're okay. npm test. All right. We moved on to the next thing. So we're still in sign up, but okay. It expects there to be a token. It expects it to be a string. So that's all correct. It expects to be able to verify this token using the jot secret that they're grabbing from the test.env. Let's see what their secret is. This is backend test. Their jot secret is this keyboard cat. Let's double check. Ours is not exactly the same. Let's try this. I'm not sure if it's I think it's loading those .env files every time it starts, so I want to reforce a start. Let's try this again. Okay, so it failed invalid signature. So we need to figure out what's going on with this. So this jot is using this is in our tests. Not that one. I want API test. There we go. This is line 590. So here's our verify code. If we go into here, this is the actual okay, so we're using JSON Web Token from npm. So we probably want to take a look at what the key is and like what the default features for them are, just to make sure that it's what we expect it to be. So our function, so you're probably, okay, so let's go. Okay, this is JSON Web Token. Let's open up npm JS and find JSON Web Token. Okay, so the algorithm, the default algorithm is HS256. Okay, so let's double check your default algorithm is what? HS256. Okay. Expires in, so expires in seconds or a string. That should be fine for what we're doing. Let's go take a look at verify. So token is the JSON Web Token string. Secret or public key is a string or buffer containing either the secret or this. Algorithm, so HS256, but of course that's the default one. I don't think I'm doing anything interesting. I'm just doing tokens. This should be a failure, right? Oh no, that's the secret. Okay, so that's what's happening, is that it's throwing an error because it's a failure state. So if we come back to here, so it's doing verify. It's grabbing this token. This token is a string. We could just double check to make sure that it's the token that we think it is. So I'm just going to put a console.log in here. So this is what? User from API token. We could also throw in the jot secret just to make sure it's actually loading up correctly. We'll run that test again, and we should see, yep, okay, so here's the token that we're getting from our backend, and we're getting this keyboard cat. This keyboard cat is exactly the same here and here. Okay, so that's good. Let's see, what else? We would need to verify that the timestamp is correct, that it maybe there's something that we need to like add into our token to have it work. I think what I'm gonna do though is the same thing as last time. I'm gonna throw in a quick cut here, and I'm gonna do some research and play around with it, and I'll come back and tell you what I did wrong. Okay, I'm back, and I thought I had found a solution for it. I thought I understood why I was wrong, but now I don't know anything anymore. Because when I try to recreate the problem, to then recreate the solution here, I couldn't. Everything just works fine. So I'm wondering if I like accidentally didn't save something correctly, didn't restart the server with like the environment variable. Maybe it was like I don't know what's going on anymore, because now when I run my tests with nothing changed, it just works. So we're just gonna continue on. And yeah, that's it. Nothing more. Okay. So we got this. Let's commit. So that way I can come back here if I really need to. I did remove the console log that I put into this test. So no more sort of like information dumping there. Okay, so this is, what do? We creating the token. So next up, it wants this one wants there to be a username inside of the token. Okay, so it does want something inside the claim, specifically the username, so it can verify that it really is exactly that token from this app. And okay, so we're not cheating too much. So because of that, we're gonna have a claim of a username. And let's double check the documentation for like just our own stuff. So here we have claims, we have like sub, which is this thing, we have exp, and then we could just put in whatever we want here too, which in this case is a company. Now in our case, we want there to be a username, I believe. So let's put in a username, and that's going to be a string, which does mean we need to take in the secret and a username, which that could be a strt. And then username is username.toOwned. Now, if this is taking, like, I could just pass in a string to, and then toOwned it on the other side, or clone it on the other side. That would be fine. That'd be fine too. This is sort of like my own, I just like almost by default do strs at this point, but it's just immediately becoming a toOwned. So I'm just going to do a string to make this part a little bit nicer. There. And then in CreateUser, you need, okay, so we pass in CreateUser. Here's the secret. We need to also pass in the username. That's going to be the new user dot, that's a active value. Let's take this from the request user username. Now that's, this has been moved already, so I need to clone you out of here. Okay. That should be happy now. Let's see if this test passes. All right, it found the username out of here. Created. Okay, next up. It expects that the password that's in the database not to be the password that was passed in. So it's checking to see if the password is plain text. And unfortunately, it is, because we just threw this in there. So that's failing. So we need to use a hashed password. So we need to go find that a hash algorithm again. I believe this is going to use, it's going to use bcrypt to compare. So I have to use bcrypt here. Okay, so let's go find bcrypt. So this is creates. What did we use last time? Did we use bcrypt? Let me check in here. If I do a cargo add, I lost my history. Let's go find in data. We are just using bcrypt like that. Yes, so this bcrypt is correct. This is the one we're going to use. Okay, so project solution, bcrypt, add that in. I don't think I need any of the features for this. And okay, so I need a hash. So in project solution, we need to open up in source, utilities. let's just create a hash. Close you down, give myself some room. Okay, so pubmod hash, and we're gonna have a pub function, maybe like hash password. We know we're gonna have to take in a password, and we're probably gonna have to take in a secret. I probably also want this to be a different secret than the one that we're using for the jot, and this is, let's see, when I hash, that hashes this. Does this hash with a oh, it hashes with its own secret, right? I want to say. Okay, let's well, we know we need the password. So we have a password. That's going to be a, what do you take in? You take in a stir, it looks like. We're going to return a result with a string and an app error. Let's throw a to-do in there. Okay, so we know we want some kind of hash. So let's try just returning use bcrypt hash, which returns a result. Okay. Then we can set what the cost is going to be too. All right. Generates a password hash using the cost given. The salt is generated randomly using the OS randomness. Okay, great. This is probably what we want then. What using, okay, so password string. So that's the password cost. Now, what cost should we use for this? We were using, I think, something like 16 for the data lessons, and there was a noticeable lag, which is not great. Let's try 14. I don't want it to take any visible time with this. Result. Okay, so we're gonna have to map error. So we're gonna have our error here. We'll do an eprint line. So this is error hashing password. Print out that error just so we know if something went wrong, and we'll return an app error, status code, internal server error, and error. So if this is hashing our password, so error error securing password, please try again later, or maybe just like error securing password. Okay, so error new. Oh, and we return that, and we'll return this entirely. Okay, so one line right here. Okay, so that's great. Now that's a magic number. We'll have to come in and change it later if we need that somewhere else. I don't think we ever do though. Okay, so we do hash. Let's go back into create account. Where's that? Routes, users, create account. I need to hash the password, and we put that in here instead. Okay, so we're gonna do hash password. The password is gonna be a reference to request user password. Question mark U. Now, because I'm passing in a reference to this, I don't need to clone it anymore, and I can pass in the string here and take ownership of it. So great. Okay, we are so far continuing to be good. Let's see if this just works. That was a pretty long delay. So that makes me think that 14 is still too bit long, but sign up is now working. Excellent. Okay. So this first test is finally up and running. Let's play with this this hash number. So I want to maybe try 12 and see if that is a little bit better. Feels like a little tiny bit better for this one. Like if I go 10, which I don't actually want to go down to a 10. I think I'm going to stay with 12. It's I mean there's a tiny bit of delay there, but I think I'm okay with a 12. And sort of like have the tiny bit of a pause but not too much. But certainly not as bad as like a 14 or a 16, which is way too much. So we'll stay here for this. What I can do is let's create a const. So we'll do a const variable. So this is going to be a cost. You are a, what are you? You are a U32. And we're going to set you to 12 and then just use this constant in here. So that way it's not quite as much of a magic number. It's still declared inside of here, but it's at the top of the file, and we should be able to find it pretty easily. Okay, and we open you up just once again. Everything is fine. Everything else is skipped right now, so everything else will be erroring out for us, obviously, but sign up is working. Let's go ahead and clean things up really quickly. So I'm actually going to do a git commit because, well, we got it working. I don't want to break that. So we are hashing password. All right, so unused import this self. Rust Analyzer keeps on bringing this in for me. I don't need it. Get rid of you. Unused import database and database connection inside the main library because we're not doing that here anymore. Unused import AppState in, where is this? This is CreateUser. Right. I don't need that because I'm using the types inside of AppState now. So don't need that. And we're happy. After this, I should run the test one more time just to make sure I didn't screw anything up. And there we go. Okay, so sign up is working. Let's go ahead and refactored to remove warnings. Hit that. I'm going to push up my code, and that's going to be the end of the first part of, well, the first real part of the project. We now have sign up working. So I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.